Today, I'm going to show you how to make cinnamon roll twist bread or cinnamon roll braided bread. So what I have here is I have 1/2 cup of filtered water, and then I have 1/4 cup of milk. You can use whatever milk that you want. And now what we're going to do is I'm just going to heat this up in the microwave. You can also heat this up on the stovetop if you want. We want the liquid to be somewhere between 105 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's go ahead and add in our yeast. This is 2 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast. And then with like a fork or a little whisk, just agitate it just a little bit. And we'll let this sit for 10 minutes. Oh yeah, it's been about 10 minutes. Look how nice and puffy that yeast is. Perfect. Also what I did is I took my 2 tablespoons of butter and went ahead and melted that in the microwave as well. About 20 seconds did the trick. So what we want to do now, we grab our bigger bowl here, and we're going to go ahead and add in our yeast mixture. Nice. Add in our melted butter. Add in our 1/4 cup of sugar. And then I have 1 egg here. And then with our whisk, go ahead and mix that all together. And now we need to add our bread flour, or you could use all-purpose flour as well. So we need just shy of 3 cups of flour, about 2 3/4 cup of flour, but I'm not gonna dump it all in. I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time until we get the dough consistency that we want. So let's go ahead and add in 1 cup of flour there. And then I'm gonna add my 1 teaspoon of salt on top of that flour. And then come in here with the wooden spoon. Let's go ahead and just mix this up. And of course, if you have a stand mixer, go ahead and do this in your stand mixer. Okay, great. And now we want to add some more flour. I need another cup that I'm gonna add. Go ahead and give this a stir here. The dough will start to come together with this much flour in there. It's still a bit too sticky to work with, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more of my flour. Okay, and I'll get a point where it's not as sticky and it pulls all the stuff away from the sides, and now we're ready to hand knead this and then add flour little by little. So let's go ahead and take this, add some more flour to our surface here, and we'll go ahead and take our dough and pour it out on our surface. Okay, and then how I knead is you just kind of push down, fold, turn it a 1/4 turn, push down, fold, like that. And then we want to knead the dough for about 8 minutes. And then what we'll do is, as the dough gets sticky again, we will add a little bit more flour. But depending on where you are, elevation and temperature, humidity, you might only wind up using about 2 1/2 cups or 2 1/4 cups of the flour. All right, then once our dough has been kneaded, go ahead and take a bowl, and then I sprayed it with some kitchen spray, or you can use some oil. And I'm just gonna go put it in there and just turn it around a little bit. And this is just gonna help it from drying out as it rises. And then I take a damp cloth and place it over it. And we're gonna go ahead and let this rise for an hour to 1.5 hours, just depends on how cold your house is, until it doubles in size. All right, it's been about an hour. Let's go ahead and take a look. Wow, really nice. I always get excited when my dough rises. Nice and soft. We're gonna go ahead and just punch it down here. And then what we wanna do, let's take some more flour. Make sure our surface is nice and floured. And we'll take our dough. Nice soft dough, yeah. Okay, and then we want to roll it out to about the shape of a rectangle. Okay, something like that. It doesn't have to be totally exact. And then I have about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of softened butter. Doesn't have to be exact. Let's go ahead and put this on, and you can just use a basting brush, and let's just go ahead and cover this with a coating of butter. And you can use salted or unsalted butter, up to you. And now let's take about a cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup, add a tablespoon of cinnamon, and with a fork or a little whisk, just shake that up. And now let's get our cinnamon and sugar. Okay, and now we want to roll this lengthwise. Nice tight roll, okay? And now we want to cut this down the middle. So then we essentially have 2 nice strips of dough. Look how cool it looks, okay? And now what we need to do is we need to braid these together. And this is just a sheet pan with a silicone mat, and you can put parchment paper or whatever you want. And then we want to kind of connect the ends together. And then we're going to just braid these. Pick the whole thing up. And do a nice tight braid. This part can get a tiny bit messy. It's okay. Awesome, see how that's coming together? Really, really neat. Cool, see that? I'll turn it this way. And then what we're gonna do, just kind of stretch it a little bit, connect it together, like that. And then what we wanna do is we wanna just let this rest and let the dough rise for a little bit longer. So I'm just gonna let it sit like this for, about 15, 20 minutes. All right, and then after we let the dough rest for about 20 minutes, I also covered it with plastic just to help keep it from drying out. And now what we want to do is we want to have our oven that's preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 190 Celsius. Let's go ahead and put this in there and bake it for 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. And when it comes out of the oven, it'll look something like this. Smells fantastic. Nice and golden brown on the top. It's gonna be soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. Amazing, a little bit of caramel on the bottom there. That's kind of why you wanna use a parchment paper or a silicone mat. Awesome, then we'll just let this cool for about 10-15 minutes before we can dig into it. I'm gonna come in here and just cut into it with my knife. Oh yeah. Mmm.